Hey there, guys. So I want to thank you for taking the time to check out today's live stream, where we're going to be going over healthy eating without tracking every calorie. So, of course, before I do get started, I do want to share a few things with you guys. So, if you're not aware, I do these streams every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, and I also do additional streams throughout the week, including a live stream on, of course, Tuesday through TikTok. And then I do a live stream on YouTube every other Thursday. Tomorrow I will be doing a live stream on YouTube discussing aging and testosterone alongside fitness. So that'll be the main topic for tomorrow's stream. And I try to make sure to have every stream be unique in its own way, and that it's not, of course, redundant or repetitive. I try to have a unique topic for every stream so that you're not watching the same one over and over again. So definitely check those out. Again, there will be a stream tomorrow at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, the same time as I do today, as well as my normal TikTok streams on Tuesday. So they're all at the same general time. Another thing too that I try to do is I try to archive the streams that I do. I've been in the process of working on getting my TikTok streams uploaded and getting those together. I've been able to download those and re-upload those, but it is taking me a while to get those together. But there is a stream I know that I have uploaded here recently that was from TikTok that you can watch on my profile. But I am working on adding more of those moving forward. But with all that being said, guys, again, feel free to check those streams out. Another thing too that I will mention is that I do have a website that is bponlinefitness.com. There's a ton of information on there related to online fitness coaching, as well as being able to check out some of the latest information that is free. I have free resources on there, such as being able to check out my fitness blog, as well as being able to check out also my email list. So when you sign up to the email list, you can get a free email newsletter each and every Monday. And then I also upload to my blog every Friday. So definitely check those out if that's something that you're interested in sort of learning more about. But with all that being said, guys, let's go ahead and get started with our topic, which is on healthy eating without tracking every calorie. Now, for this topic, there's a few different points that we're going to discuss, and I'm going to really make this topic again. This topic itself is not only geared towards somebody who may have already built a workout routine, but I think it can be in general very helpful for anybody who is really trying to get a grasp on the nutrition side of things and learning how to be able to get your nutrition where it needs to be without having to feel like you have to track every single thing all at once. So, building a healthy plate without counting every calorie. So, healthy eating does not have to involve tracking every bite or weighing every ingredient or trying to hit the perfect numbers. And this is something that I mention with a lot of clients that I work with, is that whenever you start with getting a grasp on your nutrition, it does not have to be perfect when we're talking about nutrition tracking. What matters is that you're getting a general idea on what you're eating day to day. So, a simple plate building method can help to create balanced meals, manage portions, and stay consistent without making food feel complicated. So, why this approach works? So, this method gives your body a helpful balance of protein, fiber, carbohydrates, fats, vitamins, and minerals. It also provides enough flexibility to work with different foods, cultures, schedules, and personal preferences. So, like what I've mentioned before, and I've mentioned this a few times when we're talking about how we have to, structure our plate. is in general, we need to anchor our plate around protein. That's one thing that I've mentioned many times before, is that how you build out your plate is all about creating balance between all of these different nutrients. So the basic formula that you need to follow is on having half of your plate being for colorful vegetables or fruit, a fourth of your plate being lean protein rich foods, one fourth of your plate being quality carbohydrates. This could be your brown rice, of course. This could be your whole grain based options. Your complex carbs is what you want to focus on for your carbohydrates. You can also add a small serving of healthy fat. Now, healthy fat again is going to be olive oil. It's going to be nuts, almonds, seeds, anything like that is going to be a great addition to include. You also want to pair it with water or another low calorie beverage. So, generally, with your calorie intake, it should be primarily from your foods. The less you can get your calorie intake from your drinks, the better. So, again, this is a very simple formula to follow. A half plate on colorful vegetables or fruits, one fourth plate on lean protein and quality, eh, excuse me, on lean protein rich food, and then another fourth of your plate is on quality carbs. So, that is going to give you a general idea on how your plate needs to be structured. And what I like to, to give a good example, this could be grilled chicken for your lean protein. You could have brown rice for your quality carbs. And you can also include a small amount of vegetables, add sort of a side in addition to that brown rice and grilled chicken. And then for your healthy fats, you could drizzle olive oil on your food. Again, that adds a flavor while also at the same time it's adding healthy fat. So you can do this in a lot of different ways. This is not just, again, not just for a dinner-based meal, but it can be included for a lot of different meals. So why consistency matters more than perfection? And I know that we're talking about nutrition here, but this is really important even when we're talking about the concept of nutrition, because all of these play together, whether you be your nutrition, your workouts, anything to that effect is still going to play together. So consistency itself is creating this momentum. So every small action moves you forward. So one workout may not transform your body, but completing workouts week after week is going to create this real change. The same is going to apply to your nutrition, your sleep, hydration, and daily movement. So I did get kind of ahead of myself there. But again, consistency works in a lot of different ways. Perfection can prevent action. So when you believe everything must be perfect, it becomes easier to procrastinate or give up. You may skip a short workout because you cannot complete the workout in full, so, or you may abandon your nutrition plan after one unplanned meal. So a smaller effort is still more valuable than no effort at all. And then again, repetition produces results. So that goes hand in hand with consistency. Your results are shaped by what you repeatedly do, not, or excuse me, what you repeatedly do, not what you occasionally do. I've got do and do not together perfectly. One healthy meal cannot create lasting progress, just as one indulgent meal cannot destroy it. So, your overall pattern with your foods matters the most. So, that's what you have to keep in mind. Again, this is a concept we've discussed over and over again, that your consistency and your repeated repetition is going to matter more than you trying to have everything perfectly aligned together. Another thing you want to think about is choosing foods that keep you satisfied. And this kind of goes back into that concept, like what I've mentioned with anchoring your meals around protein, is because with protein, and that's why protein is, of course, the first point on here, protein generally is more satiating as far as a nutrient. So it allows you to stay fuller longer. And so what that does is, of course, prevents you from eating more, and eating unwanted foods at the same time. So for protein, include eggs, Greek yogurt, chicken, fish, tofu, or beans to help meals feel substantial. And again, these types of foods are going to be more satiating and are going to keep you fuller longer. Also include fiber-rich carbohydrates. This could be oats, potatoes, whole grains, fruits, and beans to support energy. So carbohydrates themselves, as oftentimes as we think of them as a negative, they do help with our energy levels and our performance in our workouts at the same time. So of course they do help with the muscle repair process in the body, but they also help with how we're able to perform in our workouts. Another thing is healthy fats. So generally with healthy fats, what healthy fats basically help to regulate is more of hormones in the body. So include nuts, seeds, avocado, olive oil, and nut butter as a way to add flavor and staying power. High volume produce is another great option, which is your vegetables, which include fruit to provide fiber, which, what I should say, your vegetables and fruit, which are going to provide fiber, water, and more food volume. While at the same time, those fruits and vegetables are going to provide, of course, your vitamins and minerals. A lot of fruits and vegetables are going to have that mix as well, and not only just the benefit of the fiber and, of course, filling in the holes of your calorie intake, it's going to help depending on what types of fruits and vegetables you include, is going to help with you increasing different, levels of your vitamins and minerals. Healthy eating at restaurants and social events. So you don't have to avoid restaurants or skip social events to make progress. Healthy eating is about making thoughtful choices most of the time and not striving for perfection. I did kind of touch on this topic in a separate stream that was on YouTube, but I still feel like that this is relevant in a lot of ways to this topic. So what you need to think about is reviewing the I was about to say reviewing the meal, but reviewing the menu ahead of time so you can make a decision before arriving hungry. Prioritize protein, again, anchor protein as your main focus by choosing meals with lean meats, fish, tofu, or other high protein options to support muscle maintenance and recovery. Include vegetables whenever possible to add fiber, nutrients, and satisfaction to your meal. What's your portions without obsessing? Consider sharing large entrees, ordering a half portion, or saving leftovers for another meal. And again, this is really easy to do. You can do this with pretty much any sort of restaurant, or even if you go to more of a fast food place, you don't have to avoid these places. That is not the goal. The goal is to learn how to make use of what these places offer so that you can still enjoy those social events. So again, I don't want you to feel like you have to be restrictive of how you approach your diet. It's just about being more mindful when you go to these events or when you go to a restaurant to think about what you can choose and what's going to sort of stay within your diet and your nutrition overall. So the next point is using hand portions. So this is a way that you can really sort of measure your portions to give you a better idea on what you need as far as your nutrients. So, a simple way to build balanced meals without weighing or tracking food is using this method. So, generally, with the amount of food that you should have when it comes to protein, that would be about the size of your palm. So, that is sort of the portion size that you would want to have, whether that be again chicken, fish, lean meat, eggs, Greek yogurt, tofu. A palm-sized amount of protein is what you want to think about. Now, for vegetables, usually this is the size of a fist. So this can be broccoli, salad, peppers, carrots, green beans. So that's generally the amount of foods you want to think about to add to your meal. So for carbohydrates, you would have a cupped hand, which would be your hands together, and that's going to be sort of your portion for your carbohydrates. So this is rice, potatoes, oats, pasta. Now, when I say pasta, one thing I do want to say is that you can find healthier options for pasta. There are more whole grain based pastas that you can get. So be a little bit cautious with pasta, but it is okay to include them depending on the kind of pasta you include. And then, of course, bread, you want to focus on whole grain based bread at the same time, and then fruit also. And then for healthy fats, a thumb size is generally what you want to focus on. This is going to be olive oil, avocado, nuts, seeds, and nut butter. So you don't have to have a huge amount of fats. So that's just giving you a general idea on how the portion should be for each of these different, sort of parts of your meal that you're building. Creating a consistent meal structure. This is another thing that's important as well. And this is something that I've mentioned many times before is that when you get rid of a lot of the decision making in your meals, this is going to help you to be more consistent with keeping a track of your meals and being, you know, having this consistency and this discipline with your meal tracking and, prepping meals and things of that nature. So choose a structure that is going to fit your schedule. And this is again going to make it easier for you to stick to. So option one, you could include three balanced meals. Option two, three meals and one planned snack. Or option three, where you're focusing on four smaller meals throughout the day. So again, build each meal around a quality protein source, fruits or vegetables, an appropriate carbohydrate portion. Again, go back to what I mentioned with your hand portions. That's what you want to focus on. A moderate serving of healthy fats. So, some helpful habits that are going to help. So, eat at similar times most days. And again, this is something I've discussed many times before is that when you create a consistent time when you're doing something, again, this can be outside of just nutrition. This could work with any habit that you're trying to build. When you focus on, let's say you, again, going back to nutrition, consuming your foods at a specific time of day, if you're, meal prepping or things like that, when you're eating at those similar times or same times of day, it makes it easier for you to stay consistent with it. Another thing too is avoid regularly skipping your meals and becoming overly hungry. So this is one thing that I think is the hardest to get a grasp of is learning to eat even when you're not really hungry. And this is a big thing that you have to train your brain with when it comes to muscle gain is that you kind of have to focus on eating your meals consistently. You don't just eat when you feel like it. You have to make sure that you regularly are consuming meals throughout the day. So you don't want to be overly hungry. You want to be consistent with when you eat. Plan protein-rich snacks when meals are far apart. Prepare convenient foods for busy days. And again, that goes back into the meal prep side of things. If whenever possible, try to meal prep so that you can get rid of that decision making throughout your week. Adjust portions based on hunger, activity, and goals. But again, these are some helpful habits to think about. Pick a structure that's going to fit for you. And again, build those meals around that simple blueprint, quality protein source, adding fruits and vegetables, a good carbohydrate portion, as well as moderate serving of healthy fats. Again, what you're seeing there's protein, carbs, and fats. That's your macronutrients. You're just building your meals around those nutrients and then adding that fruits and vegetables in there as well. So recognizing hunger and fullness cues. So learn to respond to your body instead of waiting until you are starving or eating until you feel uncomfortably full. Now, this is very important to keep in mind. And again, this goes for many different goals. I do mention it in particular with muscle gain because a lot of times with muscle gain, it is the hardest because, especially if you're somebody who is not used to, you know, like with me, one thing that I always sort of mention with my journey when I was, even still now, focusing on muscle gain is that I struggled a lot with trying to eat enough food that would help with my goal. Because with muscle gain, you have to be in a calorie surplus. You have to, basically, what that means is you're consuming more than your maintenance calories. And your maintenance calories are, for the simple understanding of what that means, is basically the calories that keep you at your current body weight. So what you are consuming that's keeping you at your current body weight. So you're consuming sort of more than that amount. So generally that's 200 to 300 more calories than your overall maintenance, which is something I need to discuss further to how to calculate maintenance calories. But that's how muscle gain works. And then when we're talking about, of course, fat loss, it's completely opposite, where you focus on a calorie deficit, which is consuming less. But these are very important things to keep in mind. And again, especially when you're focusing on muscle gain, because muscle gain, if you're somebody who, who was maybe more skinny and then you're trying to gain muscle, it is the hardest. And I think this could be the same way with fat loss, with people who struggle with fat loss. It's sort of the same concept, but it's learning to really identify more of how you feel. So use a simple hunger scale. So 1 to 2 is going to be extremely hungry, weak, or irritable. 3 to 4 is going to be hungry and ready to eat. 5 to 6 is comfortable or pleasantly satisfied. 7 to 8 is full, and 9 to 10 is uncomfortably stuffed. So basically, giving what you've eaten, I should say, for the day is going to help with, or for that specific meal, is going to help you identify, do I need to eat more depending on what my goal is, or do I need to eat less? So before eating, ask yourself some of these questions. Am I physically hungry? When did I last eat? Am I stressed, bored, tired, or eating from habit? And while eating, slow down and limit distractions. Notice the taste and texture of your food. Pause halfway through the meal and ask, am I still hungry or am I comfortably satisfied? So, again, this can work both ways depending on what your goal is. It can work either way. But these are things that you have to really get a grasp on. And again, I think these are the hardest parts, especially again for me, learning to eat even when I felt like I wasn't as hungry, but I had to make sure that I ate enough. Even if I didn't feel like I was hungry, I still needed to have those nutrients in order for it to help me with the muscle gain process. So again, this can take a while to get adjusted to. Again, like I've said before, I think nutrition in your diet is something that just takes time. You just have to take your time with it and you have to be patient with it. Alrighty, so that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. I hope that this was helpful, insightful, and valuable. I really think that this was a pretty good topic, and I think that this will really help you guys if you take time to think about some of these points. I hope you did take notes from this. Because again, this is not only for somebody who is new or, even somebody who is very familiar. I think it could still help with anybody throughout their journey wherever they're at. And there's still times where I struggle with sort of identifying different aspects. It's better than it used to be because when I eat my meals is more consistent and more at a specific time. I've sort of create the schedule on when I eat and what I eat. So it's something that you have to build. But the reason why I say it took me quite a while is it wasn't until I was sort of going through a year or two within my own routine that I got a complete grasp on how I should approach my meals and how to get my meals where they need to be. But again, if you guys have any questions on this topic or anything that I've discussed in the past, whether it be another live stream or any videos I've discussed, I've always been posting videos on various workouts and different tips and advice. Definitely feel free to reach out. All of these live streams that I do here on Facebook are archived, so you can watch them on YouTube as well. So this one will be archived to YouTube as well as any of my YouTube live streams I do. Of course, they stay on YouTube itself. So whenever I do those lives, you can view them on YouTube when you go to the live section. But again, I try to re-upload these so that you guys can watch them at a later time if you do miss any of these. But you will be able to watch the entirety of the stream whenever it is uploaded. But thank you guys once again for your time. If there's any topic that you would like me to discuss in the future, feel free to let me know. And again, guys, feel free to reach out and ask any questions. And also check out my website, bponlinefitness.com, where you can check out more information on what I have to offer related to online fitness coaching. And not only that, there are also free resources on there as well. I'm always uploading advice and tips in my fitness blog. And then I also make sure to, again, you can see some of the latest live streams on the homepage of my website. And then I do have an email list that you can sign up to where I send out an email newsletter every Monday. And I also keep you updated with any live streams I do. And like all of these live streams, these are free for anybody to view. So if you find these helpful, please share them. I don't mind anybody sharing these. These are free for anybody to access. And again, the reason why I do these is so that you know sort of what I have to offer in my expertise. And that's the reason why I share these. But also at the same time, I want to do these in order to help out people and understand more of the intricacies when it comes to fitness, nutrition, and recovery, and getting a better understanding because a lot of this stuff does take time to really get a grasp on. And that's how it was with me whenever I started. And that's the reason why I do what I do because I do enjoy learning about it and sharing it at the same time. But with all that being said, guys, thank you for your time. I hope this was helpful and valuable. And I will have another live stream next Wednesday at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, but I will also be going live tomorrow on YouTube as well at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. But thank you guys once again for watching, and I will see you guys next time in the next live stream.